You think your case is worth $10 million. Your attorney disagrees and says it's worth only a fraction of that. If you divorce your attorney, now, will the defense see that as a sign of weakness? Will they think that your case is worth less than what it really is because you divorce your attorney? You want to know what this is all about? Come join me as I sit here and wait for my wife. She's on the beach picking shells as I share with you this great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski, a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. All right, you believe that you have a valid medical malpractice case, and now you think your case is worth $10 million. Your injuries are terrible. They are horrendous. They have prevented you from working, and your doctors have told you in all likelihood you will not be able to work for many years. You will likely need additional care and treatment for the future. You will likely need additional surgery in order to fix or to try to fix the problems that you are currently experiencing. And you tell your attorney in the middle of your case, listen, this case needs to be settled and it needs to be settled soon. This case is worth $10 million. And your attorney says, where did you come up with that number? What authority do you have to justify a $10 million value for your case if you don't have any knowledge of the cases that have settled for this type of injury? If you don't have any knowledge of cases that have settled in this venue, in this county, how do you know that your case is really worth $10 million? And the answer is typically, well, a friend of mine told me X, Y, and Z. Oh, I read about somebody online that had a similar injury. Or I read in the newspaper that somebody similar had something similar happen to them. And that's where you get your perception that your case is really worth $10 million. You think, for whatever reason, you have this perception that your injuries are the worst thing in creation. And no one in history has ever had injuries as bad as you. And no one has ever brought a lawsuit for injuries as bad as you. And you know what? That may be 100% true. On the other hand, it may not be true at all. And your attorney may be more knowledgeable than you think in terms of this issue on how to value your case. And you're assuming also that your attorney knows the full extent of your damages and injuries at this point. Because if this discussion is happening in the beginning of your case, there's no possible way your attorney could ever determine the true value of your injuries because you may still need ongoing medical care. You may need ongoing surgery. Your physicians may not be done treating you, and they may not have been able to tell you that, yes, there's nothing else we can do for you at this point. Because it's an unknown as to whether or not your injuries truly are significant and permanent, now you have an unknown question mark. But yet you are still determined to believe, and you have this perception, and you get it in your head, and every conversation you have with your attorney, you tell him, this case is worth $10 million, I'm not going to take a dime less. And finally, your attorney tells you, listen, I've done the research. I've spoken to other experienced attorneys. The most that everybody I've spoken to and everything I've seen says that your case on its best day is worth maybe $2 or $3 million. And you say, this is outrageous. You're working against me. And now you believe there's a conspiracy, that your attorney really isn't working in your best interests. And ultimately, you reach the point in your own mind that there's no benefit for you to continuing on this journey in your lawsuit against these careless doctors and hospital staff. That you decide, you know what? You're not going to continue with this attorney. You want this attorney fired. You want to fire your attorney. And you want to go find another attorney who's willing to go ahead and who believes in your case and who believes that your case is worth at least $10 million. Now, I will share something very important with you. You have every right to believe that, and you have every right to go ahead and discharge your attorney and then go find another lawyer who's going to take on your case. But I will tell you, there are drawbacks to doing that. The first drawback is you are of the belief that you are going to find another attorney who thinks somehow that your case is worth 3, 4, 5 times as much as to what the original attorney believed after doing significant legal research. That is going to be a significant challenge for you. And if by some chance you are able to find an attorney who tells you, yes, I think your case is worth at least $10 million, here's one thing that I suggest you ask him during that conversation where he tells you that your case is worth at least $10 million. Ask him to put it in writing. That's right. Ask the attorney to put that in writing. And you know how many attorneys would actually do that? I don't believe a single attorney you talk to would ever do that. Why? Because for one thing, no attorney anywhere in New York could ever guarantee a particular result. It doesn't matter what the attorney thinks. There is no possible way that an attorney could ever guarantee that you get a particular result. So just because an attorney says, yeah, your case is worth $10 million, and I'm sure that if I take this case on, I can get you $10 million, that's impossible. I don't care how great their experience is. I don't care what great results they've achieved in the past. There is no possible way that any attorney in their right mind could ever tell you with 100% certainty, yeah, you come to me, I can get you 10 million, I can get you more. Tell them, will you be so kind as to put that in writing? Because that will never, ever happen. Okay, so now let's get back to the question I raised in the beginning of this video. If you go ahead and divorce your attorney, if you discharge your attorney will be able to turn to attorney number 2, who you ultimately hire, and say, listen, I spent X thousands of dollars to prosecute this client's case up until this point. You need to immediately reimburse me for all of those expenses because of all the work that I have done. And because I did a tremendous amount of legal work from the very beginning of this case up until the point now where you are taking over this case, I am now entitled to a percentage of whatever you, attorney number 2, are able to recover for this particular patient. If by some chance you are able to recover the $10 million that this client thinks he's going to get, well, that's wonderful. But that means that I am entitled to a percentage of it, not the full percentage that I would ordinarily be entitled to if I had held on to the case and I was the one who settled this case at the very end. So now let's get back to the question I raised at the very beginning. If you divorce your attorney, if you separate, if you discharge your lawyer, which you have every right to do, knowing full well that your attorney is going to get his expenses repaid, and knowing that your attorney number 1 will get a percentage of the fee, what effect will discharging your attorney have on the defense, knowing that you have let attorney number 1 go, and now you hired attorney number 2? Will it matter? Will it make a difference? In my opinion, I've been doing this now going on 37 years almost. In my opinion, the answer is yes, it will. They will recognize, the defense will recognize that there's a problem. And the only real reason why you would fire a first attorney is because of some significant issue that arose. Sometimes it's because the attorney thinks your case is worth a particular amount and you disagree. Sometimes it's because something funny has gone on. When I say funny, a friend of mine uses the term fugazi. Something unusual has happened that may rise to the level of unethical conduct, either on the attorney's side or sometimes even on the patient, the injured victim side, where they have done something that wasn't exactly kosher. And now attorney number 1 says, listen, I need to get out of this case. I'm going to ask the court to release me as your attorney. Does it make a difference? I think ultimately it does. And I think the defense recognizes that there is a weakness somewhere hidden in your particular case. They won't know the true reason why you have discharged your attorney. That's confidential. But they will know that there's a problem. They may see that as a weakness and now think that the value of your case is less than what you perceive it to be. So why do I share this quick information with you? I share it with you just to open your eyes and help you understand how these types of cases work in New York. You know, I realize you're watching this video because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. If your matter did happen in New York and you have not yet started a lawsuit, but are thinking of doing so and still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.